Hey everyone, we're going to wait about another minute or two, get this thing started here. There's still some people logging in, so we want to make sure we get everybody on before we start. So probably get started in about 90 seconds. All righty. I say we go ahead and get started. So, good morning, everybody. This is Tyler Finken, Health Marketing Director over at Western Marketing. Certainly do appreciate you all taking your time out of your busy schedules to be on the webinar with us this morning here. With us, I have a Senior Vice President over at Cigna, Mr. Jim Codney, on the line with us. He's going to be doing the webinar for us today. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm really excited about this webinar. This dental vision and hearing plan that Cigna has designed is one of the best that I've ever seen that has hit the market earlier this week. So, Jim, thank you for being on with us today. Whenever you're ready, I will let you go.
Hey, Tyler. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. I want to just reiterate what Tyler said. It's not just his excitement, to be honest. It's our excitement, too. I've been at Cigna. I was the first regional vice president hired in 2016 before we launched our Chillick MedSup. And, it was exciting back then. And it's really fun to have a product that we're excited about launching. It's been out in the market now since Monday, and we've seen that the market likes it too. Sales are going very well. So, I'm here for you. As I go, if you have questions, please type them in the question box, and we'll get going. So before we talk about product, I want to just make sure you understand the company you're selling for. Obviously, you all know the name Cigna. That's no big deal, right? But what's important to us as a carrier? And our mission statement is simple. It's to help improve the health, well-being, and peace of mind of those we serve by making healthcare simple, affordable, and predictable. So what does that really mean? Because that sounds all good, but what do we do? Well, we are focusing as a company on healthcare, not just sick care. So the old concept of a health insurance company is, your client buys a policy, they get sick, go to the doctor, and you help pay the doctor bill. Well, we can be better than that. So what we're really focusing on is helping them avoid having to go to the doctor as much as we can. So we're really focusing on helping people live more active, healthy, fulfilled lives. And when that happens, it's great for them, right? Because typically they don't have to go to the doctor or get hospitalized or have health issues as much as if they didn't. So it's really good for our end consumer, but it's also good for us as a carrier, and it's good for you as well. Because if they aren't making as many claims, guess what? We aren't having the loss ratios that could make us have to make big rate increases on different products, etc. So it's a win-win-win for everybody in that circle. But let's talk a little bit specifically about dental, and I'm gonna highlight a couple of things on these pages, and then we'll get more deep into the product. But I really want to focus, we've got a great maximum. Our DVH product has a $5,000 maximum option, right? Which is one of the highest out there. It's really exciting. I've been looking at some stats, and early stats show that that's almost everybody. I think it's really a high percentage are selling the $5,000 option, because I'll show you sort of how it works later, but you're talking dollars a month to go from the minimum of $1,000 in coverage up to $5,000 in coverage, and literally dollars, not tens of dollars, not $20, but usually, $3, $5, $6 a month for your client can take their coverage up from $1,000 to $5,000. We've already talked about Cigna as a brand name. Obviously, you know us, but most of your clients know us as well. So it's easier to sell when your client has familiarity, especially when it's a good product. And we've got competitive rates. We'll get into some of the rest of this stuff as we go. Also for you, one thing to think about on this product is we have some different deductible options, which we'll get into deeper, but one of them is a new disappearing deductible. What I really like about our disappearing deductible option is, unlike that car insurance disappearing deductible, the way that works is as long as you don't make a claim, your deductible keeps disappearing, and once it hits zero, it stays at zero. But if you ever have a claim, it goes back up to whatever it was. Our disappearing deductible is regardless of claim. So once your client is in their fourth policy year, they would have a zero deductible regardless of whether they utilize the policy benefits or not. So let's get a little deeper into the product. Some of the things I really like, there's no app or annual policy fee, right? So when I used to be out in the field and selling, sometimes, I'd sell a client a policy for 30, 35, 40 bucks a month, like these tend to be, and then I'd have to ask at time of sale for an extra 30 or 35 bucks for an application fee. That was never a real comfortable conversation, because the client's like, wait, Jim, I thought you just said this was 35 bucks a month. And I'd have to say, yeah, but there's an application fee the company charges, so it's really 70 the first month, but every other month there'll be 35 that I told you. With Cigna here on this product, you don't have to worry about that fun conversation. There's two rate classes. Now, the rate classes, as you see, are 18 to 49 and 50 to 89. So by state, all the people in those age classes will pay the same. So you don't have to worry about, if somebody is 18 or 23 or 35 or 52, in the same state, they all pay the same rate. Now, the rates do vary by state. So if you're somebody who has non-res licenses and sells in your state or bordering states, or you sell over the phone, just be aware you need to check the rates for the state you're selling in. Obviously, if you utilize our Awesome app, those are all preloaded, so you don't have to worry. We have 4 different types of policies. You can sell an individual policy, a spousal or couple policy, a single parent policy, or a family policy. Now, what I love about those is, individual is what we all know, and most of us sell 99% of the time. But let's say you sell a spousal policy or single parent policy or a family plan. Well, whatever maximum you chose, let's say you chose the $5,000 maximum, each individual on that policy has a $5,000 maximum in that scenario. So it's not one little pool of money that everybody on the policy uses. So a family of 4, each person on a family plan has a $5,000 max if you chose that. So I really like that. No underwriting. We'll get more into the network later in the discussion. So here's where it is available. It's going to be available soon, or it's filed. So if you look right now on your screen, you're going to see the green states. Those are the 17 states we just launched on Monday. You'll notice Nebraska and Iowa, Missouri, kind of a lot of that in the Midwest, Arizona where I live, the great state of Texas, etc. The blue states are coming soon, so less than a month away, August 9th. Any state in blue like Nevada, Utah, Kansas, etc., those will be here, launched on August 9th, ready to sell. And the orange states are already filed, and we're expecting those to come back really soon. Really what we're looking at is to get most of the country ready to rock and roll pre-AEP. So that's our goal. There will be some outliers that doesn't happen with, and those normal states that we don't have a product in, like your New Yorks, etc. But most of the country, you'll end up seeing pre-AEP. So within 2.5 months, you'll see ready to sell. So we're really excited about that. Let's talk about the need a little bit. If you're new to dental, vision, hearing, it's really important that we at least highlight a little bit of need, right? Because I believe that you have to be in belief, or you have to have belief that a product is needed to effectively sell it. So, if you look on your screen now, 46% of adults at least age 30 show some signs of gum disease, right? That's over a third of adults over 30 in our country have gum disease. 11 million Americans over the age of 12 need vision correction. And 20% of the population, so 20% is roughly 48 million people, have some sort of hearing loss. So folks, whether you sell in the Medicare market or the under 65 market, there's a need for a product like this. There's a great need, but probably the scariest thing is the next thing we'll talk about, that 69% of people in the U.S. cannot afford an unexpected $1,000 bill. Folks, if they can't afford that, how are they going to afford a crown if they go to the dentist and need a crown, or need oral surgery, or need wisdom teeth removed, or whatever? That stuff gets very expensive. And unfortunately, about a third of adults skip medically necessary treatment because they can afford it. Now, one thing that I will tell you, and this is just something I've heard from a medical professional, is sometimes death comes in through the gums, right? Like, oral health is imperative to holistic body health. So if our clients don't have good oral health, it can negatively impact their cardiovascular health, etc., and really negatively impact them way more than any of us would think. Positioning, I think this sort of makes sense, right? I mean, if you look at the top bullet under individual spouse, oral health is key to overall health. We just talked about that. With families, most ACA plans do not offer dental, vision, and hearing for all ages. And with retirees, most retirees can't keep their dental when they were on a plan with their former employee and then retire. So there's a lot of ways to position this. I know you guys are going to find your own, but these are just some things to think about if you're newer to this market and looking for ways to sort of position this product as you start selling. So here's the product in a nutshell, and then we'll get a little deeper dive. So the annual benefit, as I told you, right? $1,000 minimum, $5,000 maximum. You can do that in $500 increments, but I'm going to be very honest with you guys. If you're going in $500 increments, you don't really understand how affordable this product is. I will tell you, in most cases, I've done some test quotes for this. On an individual, again, moving from 1,000 coverage to 5,000 in coverage is dollars a month. So I would at least suggest you start looking in $1,000 increments, not $500 increments. And all three, dental, vision, and hearing, come out of that annual amount. We'll get into, there are some limitations or some maximums for the benefit on vision and hearing that we'll get to in a minute. And they're all per person. Again, we talked about that with the spousal, single parent, and family plans. Our deductible options, we've got a 100, a 50, and a 0 deductible. And as you see kind of in the middle of that orange, that disappearing deductible. The way that works is your client starts off in year 1 with a $100 deductible, year 2, $66.66, year 3, $33.33, and in year 4, through the rest of the life of the policy, regardless of claims, 0 deductible. This is a great option for somebody who wants to eventually have a 0 deductible, doesn't mind waiting a couple years to save a few bucks a month. And again, that's all per person. And then preventative service. So our plan does have coverage for that, but it's not at 100% unless your client buys the rider. Now they can buy a 100% preventative rider. I'll show you how affordable that is. In early statistics I'm seeing, again, just like the $5,000 max, we're seeing that sold on almost every policy. It just makes sense. So here's dental coverage by class. So preventative and diagnostic is class 1s, like your annual cleanings and stuff like that. 60 year 1 through 90 years 4 plus. Really, it's the same thing for class 2, which are your basic, 60 year 1, 90 year 4 plus. And then your majors, so, you know, your things like, crowns, stuff like that. Year 1, there is no coverage, but years 2 plus, there's 60 because there is a 12-month waiting period. However, if your client had 12 months of continual coverage with no lapse prior to buying ours, we waive that 12-month waiting period for class 3. So they would get the 60% starting in year 1. Here's class 1. As I said, it covers things like cleanings, limited oral evaluations, some x-rays and bite wing films, etc. Cleanings, we cover up to 2 per year. Sealant, so if you're working with somebody who has either a single parent or a family plan, they put sealant on younger kids' teeth. Very common nowadays. It's covered on this policy for that. Class 2, a little more involved, diagnostic consultations, palliative treatments, those more in-depth type of x-rays, your basic fillings, whether amalgam or composite resin, etc. Even basic oral surgery is covered under class 2. And then class 3 is your bigger thing like dentures, bridges, crowns, etc. Again, I know you guys can read, so I'm not going to read every thing that it covers, but you get a good idea. So class 3 obviously is for your bigger, more major things that your client would go and get dental care for. But again, starting in year 2 for everybody, we cover 60%. And if they had 12 months of previous coverage with no lapse, we'll cover it starting year 1 at 60%. So really nice thing for us on this. Here's how vision works. You're going to notice the way the coverage is year 1 through 4 plus is exactly the same as the class 1 and 2 dental. It covers things like exams, eye refractions, frames, and contact lenses. So the normal stuff that most vision plans cover. I do want to make sure I'm very clear. The vision coverage is $200 for any rolling 2 years per person. So let's say your client goes, has the policy today, goes to the ophthalmologist, ends up needing glasses, etc. They basically use their maximum $200. Well, for the next 2 years, they would not have vision coverage. But I'm going to tell you, if they go in network, they're going to still get some benefits, even if they don't get the coverage from the plan, because they'd still be able to utilize the negotiated discounts that the plan VSP has for them. So it's really nice. Now, there is a 6-month waiting period on vision. And then for hearing, any 1 year, you're looking at a $500 max per person. The coverage is year 1 is 0, but starting in year 2, 70%, year 3, 80, and year 4 plus 90%. So covers things like hearing aids, and repairs of hearing aids. So a nice little thing there. Again, $500 per year per person on that. And all those, let's say they only utilize the dental portion, well, they can use up to the maximum of that that they chose. So if they chose $5,000 per person on the dental, if they have $5,000 worth of claims, no problem. But if they use the 200 in vision, that comes out of their max 5,000. They use 500 of the dental, etc. So keep in mind that vision and hearing does come out of the maximum they chose for the policy. So this is sort of what it looks like if you were to put it on a big spreadsheet of the coverage, just to put it in perspective. Again, really just keep in mind a really good policy with a great maximum at 5,000, disappearing deductible options. I really like it. So they are going to get cards. They can print them at mypolicyhq.com. So network is dental is Carrington Maximum Care PPO. Vision is VSP Vision Care, and hearing is through Amplifon. So we picked some of the best networks we could find. We actually didn't launch as early as we wanted to because we wanted to make sure we had good networks for our consumers. So the network for dental, again, Carrington Maximum Care PPO, there's over 85,000 dentists on that with over 230,000 locations. Some dentists have more than one office, so that's why. The coverage is the same in and out of network, but I'm going to show you an example of why they would want to go in network whenever possible in just a moment. So just keep that in mind. So here's the example. Let's say your client goes in for a filling. Now, the cost may be the same, right, in network or out of network for our example. Let's say the basic cost of the filling is $210 in and out of network. But if your client goes in network, our pre-negotiated rate for that is $111. So roughly, 50% less than the normal billed amount. And then in years 4 plus, we cover 90% of that. So of that $111 in year plus, your client's really only responsible for $11.10. If they went out of network, well, same basic $11.10, but they're going to balance bill the difference between the $210 billed and the negotiated rate, because if they're out of network, negotiated rates don't apply. So it's really going to cost your consumer roughly $110 in this example. So a lot more. So again, as you're talking to your customers, please suggest that whenever possible, they go in network. Here's some other examples of savings, right? These are pure examples, but it gets you a rough idea of the saving percentage between going in and out of network, typically between mid-40s and almost 60% out-of-pocket costs for a consumer going in and out of network. Here's the vision. Again, we use VSP. They've got over 35,000 in-network providers. They have to use our pre-negotiated rates. So it's really nice. To give you an idea, for lenses, for example, with the purchase of a complete pair of prescription glasses, single vision is $40, line trifocals $75, bifocals $60. It just gives you an idea of the cost. The well vision exam should not exceed more than $39. So again, just gives you an idea of the affordability of the vision. And then hearing is Amplifon. They've got over 5,600 locations, so they're one of the biggest in the country. And their average discount is 40%. that it saves your clients. So the 40%, if they are actually using their coverage, obviously it'll be more because we'll pay up to $500. But even if not, it's 40% less on average than had they walked in off the street without coverage. So in most cases, it pays for itself the first time they utilize the plan. Really, really nice. Here's some rate examples, just a couple. Keep in mind this is by state, so the state you sell in might be a little higher, a little less. We used an average state for this. This is the younger 18 to 49 rate class, and they're unisex, so it doesn't matter whether it's a male or a female. But a $2,000 annual policy with a $100 deductible is $31.56 a month. This is where I want you to focus. If you added 100% preventative to that, that jumps up only to $33.29. So what is that? $1.70 something roughly. So under $2 a month, they get 100% preventative coverage. I also want you to focus on the difference between 2,000 and 5,000. If you look at the top example, 2,000 with that $100 deductible for this scenario is $31.56. Now add 250% more coverage, so go up to $5,000 with that same deductible. It only goes up less than $2.25 a month. Folks, why would you not sell 5,000? In this scenario, why would you not sell 5,000? And again, I know those of you who do this and have done this well will be selling 5,000. Our agents who have already been selling this week, again, huge percentage selling the maximum plan with preventative because, again, we're talking dollars a month. This just gives you an idea of a family plan, same scenario, but now it's a family plan. So again, there's no maximum to the number of people covered on a family plan. It's the spouses, and then in most states, it covers all dependent children in the household up to 26. So if they have 4 kids, that covers 6 people, and they each have their own benefit, right? And then here's a rate example for spousal coverage over 50. And then last but not least, an individual over 50. As you see, this is a $1,500 example with a $100 deductible. We're less than $39 a month, but again, you jump that up all the way from $1,500 to $5,000 in coverage. You're at $45.95, so you're less than 46. So what is that? $6 a month. Again, I think if that's a stretch, then you might have oversold somewhere else. I could be wrong, and I know every person's different, but it just gives you the understanding of why I personally would always lead with a $5,000 coverage. It's easier to save less money than to ask for more, right? Oh, $45.95 is too much. Okay, what about $38.98? Can you stomach that? Yeah, that works in your budget. Great. If you start at $38.98 or $39 a month, it's hard to then ask for more and ask for 46, even though it's a small amount. That's at least my experience. Let's talk about the app. I know a lot of you have used our e-app before. We've got one of the best e-apps in the industry, and you've proven it because our utilization is the highest I've ever seen. But it's super easy. This is once you get in and click the dental vision hearing, you pick the type of plan, the max benefit, and then you pick whether or not you want preventative and your deductibles. And then really you put if they've had previous coverage, etc. Super easy here. And then when you want the effective date. One thing I love about our e-app is that your client doesn't have to receive an email and create an account. They don't have to call in and do a phone interview on this product. So it's a really nice process for your consumers. I want to talk about incentives, but hopefully you guys are starting to see some of the opportunities here with this plan. But if you needed a little more to push you over to sell mine instead of company X's, how about this? Right now, through the end of the year, every issued app for DVH you sell through Cigna, on top of your comp, we're going to give you an extra $50. And if you sell that in at the same time as a med sup, we're actually going to kick that up to $75. Really, really lucrative opportunity for you guys to earn a lot of money. I know some of you on the call write a lot of DVH. I wouldn't ask you to sell us if I didn't believe in this product. I think we really got a good one here. And this is just some of our other incentives. As you see, we've got 2 med sup incentives in most states, and we've got for our other sup health products. So our cancer, heart attack and stroke, our cancer treatment, and our accident plan, and our hospital indemnity plan, we've got incentives. We know you guys work hard. We want to help you out and tell you how much we appreciate it by giving you as much incentive as we can. And these just talk about our other products. So I know I went fast, guys. If you have questions, now is the time, if you haven't, to type them in the question box. And with that, Tyler, is there anything you want to add? Anything that, any questions you see come in?
Nothing that I want to add. I think you pretty much nailed it, Jim. So thank you for doing that. I do see that we've got a few questions that came in. So if you don't mind, I'll just kind of read those off to you and let you answer them here.
Absolutely.
Somebody asked if we could get a copy of the slides. Is that something that you're able to send out, Jim, or no? I do know that this webinar is being recorded, so we'll probably send you a copy of the recording at the very least.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sorry I didn't clarify earlier. I absolutely, Tyler, can send you the deck with the caveat that this is not for end consumer use. This is for licensed insurance agent only use as far as the deck. So as long as you agree to not use it for a client presentation or to show a client, you're absolutely welcome to this to the deck, and I'll send it to you as soon as we're done, Tyler.
Sounds like a plan. Appreciate that. Next question asked if this plan will cover implants.
Implants. Let me go back here. Sorry, I know I'm scrolling, and I don't love to scroll, but I like showing people. So this is what Class 3 covers. And I don't believe it covers implants. Guys, it's brand new to me, but implants and orthodontics are not covered under the policy. However, and this is my caveat, if your client goes in network, they might be able to still get the pre-negotiated rate, which is obviously in a lot of cases a big discount, even though they wouldn't have specific coverage under the policy for that. Now, I would always recommend that they call their dentist's office and say, hey, I've got the dental through the Carrington Max PPO. Make sure they take that and then say, would you honor the discount for me? So while there's not coverage under the policy, it could still save them a considerable amount of money.
Okay. The next question says, do you have to add the preventative to the 5,000? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking there, but I think what she's asking, Jim, is does preventive services count towards the $5,000 max?
They do. So anything we pay out for does. And I want to make it very clear in case you ask for a different reason. So preventative covered at 100% is basically a rider on the policy. So if you only want it covered at 60, 70, 80, 90%, right? Then your client wouldn't buy the rider. if they want it covered at 100% for the preventative, then they would utilize the rider. So they don't have to buy it. It's a completely optional rider. So hopefully either one of those answers that we gave you would answer your question.
Okay. Next question says, can you email the application for the client to complete?
Yes, you can. Yeah, I mean, you can, but what you're emailing, I don't believe our forms are fillable. So then they would have to print it out, scan it, email it back to you. I would suggest for now you use our e-app. Our e-app, if you're new to us, is really easy. I know, Tyler, you and your team have a lot of agents that love it. In the future, sometime next year, and I don't know when, we will have a self-enroll link that you can then email your client, and they'll be able to enroll with the link right through, and it'll give you still credit for it. I don't know exactly when that'll come, but our IT team is actively working on building it and programming it. I've been told it's a 2022 launch for that, but it is coming.
Okay. Next question says, can they have both an existing plan and this one?
I have not been told no, and so I don't think that's an issue. Sorry, guys, I'm new to DVH, so I'm looking to see. We've got an FAQ actually that I sent you also, Tyler, that
Yep.
You're welcome to share. And I'm seeing if that is on here. I don't think that's a problem.
No,
Because
most plans do not coordinate benefits. They'll just pay out with whatever plan you're on. So I would assume it would be the same way with this one.
Yeah, and I believe so. I mean, I've had two dental plans, one through my employer and one through my wife's employers. So I'm going to tell you, I don't believe there's an issue. Tyler, what I'll do though is I'll verify with our product team, and if there is an issue, I'll let you know so you can share with everybody who's on the webinar today.
Okay, sounds good. There's a couple questions about like contracting and commissions. That's something that we will be reaching out to you after the webinar to get you guys contracted and set up the commission schedules and everything like that. Next question. This is a good one. Might have to look this one up, Jim. If a person is on a group dental plan, and do you know, will that satisfy the waiting period to waive the waiting periods for major services?
It will. Yeah. That one I already know. Whether it's a group, as long as it's a real dental. So the caveat is it can't be just, you know how some of the dental things out there are just a discount plan? Those don't qualify. But if it's dental insurance, whether it's through a group, an employer, or a standalone dental plan, as long as it's a real dental insurance plan and they had it for the previous 12 months with no lapses in coverage, it will qualify and they'll be able to waive the waiting period.
Okay. Another question is there a missing tooth clause?
I've not been asked that, so I don't know, but I will find out. Tyler, do you know what a missing tooth clause is?
Yeah, it's most of the time it's if a tooth is already missing or already being worked on or something, then the plan probably will not cover it, which I'm assuming there's something on there. I'll check the outline of coverage and everything and get back to you guys on that. And then the last question here before we wrap up is does the email signature process require an electronic signature, or is it just a security question?
Yeah, so that's a great, and I didn't highlight that enough, and so I'm glad you asked. It's a security question with an answer and a 4-digit PIN. So no, they don't have to do an email. They don't have to set up an account. They don't have to call in for a telephone interview and do a voice signature. You just type in phone sale in the customer signature, and you set up that security question, answer, and PIN, and we're ready to rock and roll. So again, super client-centric with how our e-app works.
All righty. They have another question come in here. All right. No, looks like that is all of the questions here. So, thanks again, Jim, for doing this with us today. Like I said, guys, really excited about this product. Should be an easy add-on to your Medicare supplement sales, Medicare Advantage, or anything else that you're doing here. So, sure appreciate everybody's time again this morning. We're going to be sending out a follow-up email here shortly with the slides and a copy of the webinar if you want to go back and reference it at your convenience. And we'll be reaching out to you shortly to answer any further questions that you guys have and to get you set up and ready to roll. So, Jim, anything you want to add before we go?
No, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. I know you're busy, so thank you very much, Tyler, to you and my friends at Western Marketing. Thanks for everything you guys have done for us and continue to do for us. So make it a great day, everyone.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great one.